what I want to do now is I want to take you through, and there's 9 different blocks here, and we're going to go through and look at what is the system of relationships. So you might want to grab a pen and paper. This is not designed to be complete, include everything, but this will give you a good foundation of what to look for and what to look out for in relationships. So going across this first row, I'm going to call that the purpose row. Why are we in a relationship? Why do we want to be together or not together? And this is an important one. And so what are some of the key parts in this? So the first one in this is, what is your vision and what are your values? So there might be some interesting spelling in here just as we go along. Now, if you look at the top part of this, if your vision and values are aligned, coming together, they bring you together. If they're not, what happens is they start to tear you apart. Now, can you be in a great relationship and your vision and values not match? Yeah, but what happens is you look at these 9 blocks, as we fill in each block, the more of these that you're not aligned on, the further apart it is and the less chance your relationship has to succeed. So the next one here, we have your purpose, your vision, your values, and then what we do is we have your needs. And there's many different definitions, but we all have needs, and there's certain needs that need to get met, and we'll go through them in detail. Tony Robbins, a mentor of mine, simplified them to 6 needs, and I studied with Marshall Rosenberg, and there's lots of different needs, but the basic idea is if your needs are getting met, it's like making, in the bank account, it's like making a deposit on a daily basis. And what you want to do is have a big bank account. On the other side, if you're not making deposits, you're making withdrawals. And if you make enough withdrawals, you end up bankrupt. And now that's just a metaphor for relationships. What can you do to make a deposit on a regular basis and meet your partner's needs? So we have vision, we have vision and value, we have the needs, and then the last one here is there's 3 types of relationships, and this will tie in really clearly in a second. First type of relationship is about what? Survival. So if you look at it, there's a certain set of rules and agreements and beliefs around a survival relationship. That's a kind of relationship where it doesn't matter, we got married, we're never getting a divorce. We don't care whether we like each other or not. We make it about the kids and we make it about all the rest of this stuff. But the truth of the matter is we no longer get along, but we're staying together because of something other than us, something called the relationship. The next is one of comfort. And so there's survival relationships and then there's comfort relationships. And in a comfort relationship, the whole idea is not to rock the boat. Now, there's a third level here, and that one is called growth. And in a growth relationship, you're going to workshops, you're learning, you're challenging, you're questioning, you're talking about issues. Some relationships move you more and more towards growth, some more and more towards survival. What kind of relationship do you want? See, there's not a right or wrong here, but I was married for 18 years to someone who wanted comfort when I wanted growth. So I'm always looking at, let's go on an adventure. She's always looking at staying comfortable. It ended up tearing us apart. So you see how these fit together. So what's the purpose? Why are we in this relationship? Vision and values. Are our needs getting met? Are we making deposits, withdrawals? And then what kind of relationship do we want? These are all like a vision. Do you have a vision? Do you want survival? Do you want comfort? Do you want growth? Then we get down here to this next group, and I'm going to call this one about connection. And the first block here in connection is about, hopefully I'm spelling that right, chemistry and I'm not even going to do it. attraction. And chemistry and attraction is great for getting us in a relationship, but some people, they stop. And you've got to either be constantly working on yourself, working on being attractive to your mate. So you're either always adding or subtracting here. And then the chemistry goes away. We're going to talk about that. Chemistry is great for getting you in a relationship. And then this block here is what keeps you in a relationship and keeps your relationship alive. The next one is called trust. And trust, you can make trust and create it by, well, it's making and keeping agreements. Agreements with yourself. The more the agreements you make and keep with yourself, the more you trust yourself. The more you make and keep agreements with others, the more you trust them. Down here on the other side is expectations. And expectations cause lots of problems. Those are unspoken agreements that you want, but you never went through the making it. You never verbalized it. And then this last one here, which is also really important, is intimacy. And intimacy is two parts. There's the emotional intimacy and the physical intimacy. And the problem is most people think intimacy is about safety. It's not. Intimacy is about risk. And when we move towards safety and trying to make the relationship smaller, what happens is it slowly kills the relationship. So that's where life is when we're risking. It doesn't mean jumping off a cliff. It means telling the truth. It means talking about the uncomfortable issues. So this is the one about connection. Starts with chemistry and attraction. You build a level of trust. The way to keep trust growing and going, keeping agreements. The way to destroy it is with a bunch of expectation. Intimacy, physical and emotional. When I say physical, yeah, I'm talking about sex, but the thing is, intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts by the way we communicate with each other. So let's bounce down to the last row, which is about relationship skills. Because most relationships don't end because of a lack of love. They end because you run into problems that are bigger than your skill set. So in the Ignored to Adored, which is a course we're about to teach coming up, there are three main skills in this first box here. Number one is the one of clearing up the past. And there's a lot of tools that are in this box or in this part of this box to help you clear up the past. Stop doing damage. Stop making the communication mistakes that make things worse. Once you've gotten cleared up the past, what you can do is start to, and I'm abbreviating it, it's connect and be present. So be present is the number one, or connect and be present is not number one, number two. And there's nothing sexier than a lover that's totally connected with you. Eye connection, physical connection. They're present. They're not thinking about work or TV or what they should be doing tomorrow, or the laundry list or the kids. They're like just with you, focused. That's an amazing experience. And then the third one is about creating a bright future. And what people are all about is, I want commitment. The reason the relationship failed is there wasn't commitment. No, the reason the relationship failed is we weren't able to clear up the past, get present. Nobody wants to commit to a lifetime of that hell. So these are three skills. Here's what happened. This is where issues get recycled. They keep showing up again and again and again. When you have the right tools, issues aren't recycled, they're resolved, they're cleared up. So the next one is an incredibly powerful tool, and I'm going to call it compassionate communication. But that's open, honest, compassionate communication. And in that, what happens with open and honest compassion and communication, you're able to take breakdowns and turn them into breakthroughs. Breakdowns actually end up with using these tools, you end up closer to each other, you understand each other. You're able to enter somebody else's world, and they're able to enter your world. Now, without the right communication tools, what end up happening with breakdowns is they're like a wedge. Not doing this exactly right, but a wedge that creates separation. Each time that you have a conflict, you end up further and further apart from each other. Excuse me. So in the compassionate communication, creating open and honest communication, you can take breakdowns and turn them into breakthroughs. Without the right communication tools or methods or systems, what happens is conflicts end up being a wedge. Now this last part in here is about your habits, patterns, habits, patterns, and beliefs. And what happens is if we're not aware of our habits, patterns, and beliefs, and we're not consciously choosing them and working with them, what happens is they're unconscious. That's what a habit is. It's basically unconscious. So we need to make it conscious so that we can move the relationship and use these tools that create connection, that make up here, that our habits make deposits. We have a habit of making deposits in each other's accounts. Otherwise, what happens is we move from a state of gratitude to a state of taking it for granted, taking each other for granted, being taken for granted. So up here, when we're conscious of it, we're moving them up. What happens is we end up in a state of gratitude. When we're down here, we end up in a state where we're taken for granted. So that's it for now. Okay. To find out more about the upcoming workshop, go to magicrelationship.net. And we're going to be teaching from ignored to adored. It is an incredible program. It will take all of this and go a little more in depth, and it will go greatly in depth in this area. This is Paul Sterling from magicrelationship.net. I look forward to seeing you soon. Hope you have a magnificent relationship. Thanks.